When I entered conversation, I was eager to participate. Yet once again, I met awkwardness when I failed to associate. I failed to meet expectation. There was pause, and then looks, then the bitter realization that their cookie-cutter image of bond and socialization was a little off because of my affiliation. It seems as though they will succeed in making the observation that I am separate from them and they are separate from me. I once had desires to share. I once aspired to relish. I imagined fond memories I'd someday come to cherish. Moments of laughter, moments to toast, moments to cheer, all of which no longer appeal to me, as it has been made painfully clear that my cut from a different cloth was a little too off, the fight for acceptance accumulating a high cost. But see, no longer are the days that we blend into the crowds, the days that tears would stain our cheeks in plain sight, fighting tooth and nail to keep our heads held high, the weight of their betrayals, enough to break the coldest night. The days that passerbyers would pass, and we remained shattered pieces of glass. The days they'd stand and hover over our gaping holes, the sight of our despair, forcing them to turn and go. Desperately, we tried to tame and train what was so obvious, hoping one day someone would stay just long enough for us. The ones that almost lent a hand, thought to maybe leave an open seat. The ones that saw their crimes unfold and thought, next time I will speak. The joy they'd see as we are almost freed was too pure and too hysterical. Even they would turn away, too burdened, too responsible. They feared liability to the dysfunction or even one's happiness. They too were incapable to leave a rope instead of judgment. On any given day, I would trade my foolishness for their kind of cruelty, for their kind of cruelty yields success where my blood, sweat, and tears yielded stress. Their blatant disregard yields them peace and rest. My attempts at something normal, flagrant signs of distress. When kindness and compassion are given but deemed unrecognizable, how can these two things even exist in the hour of survival? Naivety. Forgive me for my naivety that ails me so deeply, for I am separate from them and they are separate from me. No longer will hopes and dreams dwindle and dangle, the fear of losing them complete. It has came, settled, and it has faded. Once imprisoned by opinions, alas, we are free. No longer do we need to pacify, justify, to feel obligated. The silence that once disturbed us is now comfort, appreciated. No longer do we need permission to be, as we are separate from them and they are separate from we. There are no tears to shed. There is no soul to mourn. They succeeded in the destruction. The corpse of what once was has now become reborn. Disconnection has now become resurrection. Isolation, a new friend in which I choose to share my only bond with. Parting ways with friends, associates, even those I share blood with. Because not every home was meant for company, and not everyone is welcomed home. Sometimes the ones to fault are the ones who ponder why you remain alone. Someday, they will come to know what was lost in full gravity. My reality is that I am separate from them and they are separate from me.